And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is Coach's Corner, YSU baseball style, with one of my great friends, Mr. Dan Bertolini, fresh off the Texas trip down to Texas State, the Youngstown State University baseball Penguins. Come up a little bit short, 0-3 on the road trip, but experience was gained in kind of what we were just talking about, Coach. When you look at the experience, they had 19 seniors, you said. We have 4 experiences necessary when you're trying to do the things that you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was great for our players. We had played in a great environment on Friday night. It was a beautiful night. Didn't go the way we wanted it to, but a lot of guys got their first opportunities to really play at the Division I level. Um, you know, we have some older players, but haven't really been the key guys for their teams, and a lot of younger guys got their first chances to play. So we had a lot of firsts this weekend. It was good for us. They're a really quality team. They do a great job, and they're going to be a force in the Sun Belt. So it was good for us to kind of gain that experience, and that's really what opening weekend's for, and then see if we can learn from the mistakes that we made, some things we did well, and kind of build off that and correct some of the things we need to work on this week of practice.
I think one of the biggest things is when everybody looks at that Friday game, they're going to look at the score and they're going to say, wait a minute. What do we have to expect this year? I think people can get lost in the box score a little bit, especially when it comes to a score like that. When you see that and you see your freshmen going out and maybe some of your, I guess, first year players, not freshmen, going out and getting that experience, what do you tell them after an outing like that when, the 2 guys that you have at the front with Jake going an inning, and then, not really getting the start that you want out of him? What do you tell him after that start and kind of conversations with your pitching staff after a 20-run wallop, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we went back and watched the film. Like, I really didn't think, he was close to getting out of that inning with nothing. And next thing you know, he made a couple really quality pitches that they found a barrel to. The wind was blowing out. They hit a couple balls that just got out a little bit. And he got tired. And if it was later in the season, we probably would have rolled him back out there to work through some stuff. But he was at like 40 pitches in the first inning. And we just, we don't want to get anyone injured this early. So we decided to kind of pull him, but he's going to be fine. He's got great stuff. He's, it's just one of those days. Sometimes in baseball, they just, it just seemed like everything that he threw, they had a great plan against him, and they kind of seemed like they kind of knew what to expect from him, and they were on it. So I know that he'll do a great job bouncing back. I was really impressed with Colin Castile, freshman, getting his first opportunity out there, and honestly gave us a shot to stay in the other games. He was able to give us 4 or 5, 4 really quality innings in the middle of that game there to keep us in it. And I thought he pitched well. So, that was a real bright spot. I thought a lot of our young pitchers, did a real nice job of getting their first experience and pitching really well. So that's encouraging moving forward.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of where I was going to lean to. Colin did an amazing job. He goes 5.1. You have Aiden that goes 2/3 of an inning, and you have Gavin that goes a full inning for you. You guys throw 199 pitches on Friday. But let's switch gears. Offensively, what did you see or not see that you maybe wanted to kind of address, or things that you need to work on moving forward with teams of the caliber that you're going to be facing this year?
Yeah, I thought there's going to be nerves on Friday and opening weekend. Like I talked about, some guys getting their first experience, but I thought overall, like our approach, our plan was pretty good. It's just challenging when you get down big early in the first game. We're probably not a team that's going to hit 1,000,000 home runs. We want to get into our offense a little bit and be able to bunt, steal some bases, and create some chaos. And we weren't able to do that. I thought we drew a lot of walks. I mean, their Friday night starters, as good as probably we'll see all year, up to 94, could sink it, good slider, good command. We were able to, draw 4 or 5 walks and find ways to get some hits. I felt like every time we hit the ball really hard, we just didn't get a lot to show for it. But, there was probably 7, 8, 9 balls that we hit really hard that if they go different, the offense looks a little better on the weekend. We still got some things to improve on. We got to get a little bit more aggressive, finding balls earlier in counts in the strike zone. But I think part of that's just gaining experience. as we see more, and this is pretty typical. Look back every year for the most part, you're going to strike out a little bit more on opening weekend. And then as you get more accustomed to it, you'll get better as the year goes on. But I was happy with how we played. I mean, we played great defensively. We were, day one and day two, we were pretty much like, not 1-to-1, but 1 to 1.5 walk to strikeout, which is pretty good for us. Got a little lopsided on Sunday, but I thought, there were some good things. There were definitely some bright spots that we focused on, and we got to continue to improve. We got to put a little bit more balls in play. Got to be a little bit more aggressive with guys in scoring position because we had opportunities. We just weren't able to capitalize.
I think Sloan gave you a great start on Saturday. When you look at that, I mean, how do you build on things with him and be able to say, hey, we just need to keep continuing? I mean, 4.2 innings in his first time out this year, that's pretty special when you think about it, considering, the other starters only going an inning or so the rest of the way. How do you build those arms along the way? I mean, 4.2 is a good starting point for sure, but how do you build those arms along the way? I know you said, Jake, you probably would have kept him in and rolled him back out there if it's further in the season, but in the back of your mind, is there a little bit of PTSD from last year of the injuries that you guys kind of sustained over the course of the year with your pitching staff?
No, I mean, I think it's just you're just trying to be smart, building guys up gradually. There's a lot of studies done, like when you get over 35 pitches in an inning, we try to get guys out before that happens. You just don't want, your body starts fatiguing. You're just not built for that. So we try to get guys out if that's the case. I thought Sloan pitched incredible. I'm not really worried about Jake at all. Like, sometimes bad starts happen. That's not
Sure.
we know that he's going to be a good pitcher for us. But I thought it was huge for Sloan to come out. He really dominated, kept the ball down. He threw a lot of strikes. We're one pitch away from getting out of that inning. It's a 1-2 count, back foot slider that gets away, kind of takes an awkward bounce and bounces towards their dugout. And they're able to score 2 runs. I thought the real bright spot is we didn't give up a lot of hits on Saturday or Sunday. I mean, I think we gave up 6 in one game and 5 in the other. So it's not like we were getting hit all over the ballpark on the weekend. We just got to clean up the keeping the ball in the strike zone. We got to limit the free bases. If we can do that and not give up hits, we're going to be in a really good spot. So, but yeah, I mean, Sloan is a great preparer. He works hard. He does things the right way. And we were really looking forward to big things from him. And I think it's just the start of where he's going to end up being.
I think, relatively speaking, you walked away pretty healthy. From all the reports that I heard, RJ being the only kind of nick that you guys had, and I gotta say how impressed I was when Kovas stepped up and he gets 2 hits in that first game. He was really the talk of the weekend in Texas from the announcer standpoint. What did you see out of first off, is RJ okay? Secondly, what did you see out of Kovas that really impressed you?
Yeah, I mean, RJ's going to be okay. Just kind of it was a cold day, just kind of tweaked his hammy a little bit. I think he should be ready to go for the weekend. We'll find out this week. He's going to get some treatment and see where he's at. But I think, Kovas, I was really impressed. And we'd been talking. I mean, he's matured a lot from the fall. He's still got a way to go as far as, day-to-day stuff. But for the most part, like, offensively, he's really matured a lot from where he kind of started, in end of August, September to now. And his last, we've talked in practice, like, I was really impressed with the way he's been swinging the bat here the last, 2-3 weeks of our practice time leading up to the season. And so I wasn't that surprised when he got his opportunity and was going to go in there and swing. He's got tons of talent. I mean, he's one of the more talented guys on our team. I think just as he gains experience and continues to mature and grow, like, he's going to be a really good player for us down the line. So just another really good bat that we're going to be able to add. Gave us a big lift. It was inches away from hitting a bases clearing triple down the right field line in Sunday's game, which would have been huge for us to kind of extend that lead a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I was impressed. Threw a guy out of the plate. But as he gets more experience in right field too, he'll get better reads and jumps and things like that. And but just gives us another person that can add some offense.
This weekend, we look to the College of Charleston, a familiar foe, not someone that you're unacquainted with. What are your expectations going into this weekend series with a team that you know pretty well for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, we got a chance to play them in 2020, which was still a ways away, but they're going to be good. They swept Marshall this weekend. They can pitch. They didn't give up a lot of hits. They didn't go a lot of runs. Probably not quite the power that Texas State had. Every guy basically coming out of their pen was 93, 94, touching 95. So, it was a little bit of a different challenge. I think they're going to be a little bit more. Their Friday night starter's got a great arm. He'll run it up to 94 with some sink and can move it around. And they're, the other guys are going to be a little bit more pitchability, probably in that, upper 80s to scraping 90, but they can all pitch. They keep the ball down. They move it. They hold runners. It'll be a great challenge, very similar to teams in our league. They're a very quality team. They put some good runs up on the board against Marshall. So they'll be well coached and probably play a little bit more small ball than like Texas State did.
So we've been talking a little bit here with Danny Bertolini of the Youngstown State Baseball Penguins. Coach, we've been talking a little bit about those first series jitters. Now that the first series is over, is there a little bit more of cracking the whip and increasing those expectations as we head into Charleston and saying, okay, this is what we did. You get your pass, and now we've got to execute and be the guy that we brought in for X reason. Where do those expectations rank, and when do you really start grinding on these guys and telling them, hey, this is where you start finding your spot in the lineup or obviously in the rotation?
Well, I think the biggest, and that's why I talk to the guys, like every time we play, it's just information. Obviously we're playing every day to win, trying to execute, but in order for us to grow and get better, it's information. We got to take that information and then, apply it to how are we going to get better. So this week we're going to work on some things that we didn't do as well on the offensive side. Our pitchers are going to work on some things that they got to get better at, commanding the strike zone and getting ahead 2 out of 3, some different things that we got to work on. And I think, if we can focus on those things and execute those a little better, continue to stay with what we did really well, but then go ahead and get better each week, I think that's what we're really looking for. So, ultimately, these first 4 weekends are kind of getting us prepared to go ahead and compete in our conference. And, next week it'll really start to ramp up as we get, midweeks going. We got Pitt midweek. The following week we're playing OU. So our guys will get a little bit more reps, during the midweeks. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we want to see a better performance than we had this weekend. Just keep improving. That's really what this is about. Just keep taking steps forward so we're prepared to win in our conference.
We all know baseball players and baseball coaches are ones for routine and ones for maybe superstition. So the question off the wall this week is, do you have a traveling superstition or a traveling routine that you stick to, especially early in the season as you guys are continuously on the road week after week?
I don't take my stuff out of my bag, really. I just wash it, put it right back in my bag so I don't forget anything. That's probably the biggest worry you always have is like, man, I forget my helmet or my uniform or whatever. Like, you want to make sure you got everything organized because there's so many moving pieces. Superstition-wise, I don't really I used to be superstitious, but I'm not very I don't really have anything that
just
I do.
Just a little stitious now?
Yeah, I don't even think I'm a little stitious. I mean, I got my routine, coffee, workout, read some in the Bible, but like I'm not a huge superstitious guy. I know probably some of our players might be a little bit. I change my shoes up. If we have a bad weekend, I might change the shoes I wear on the weekend to try to get things going in the right direction. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
You mentioned reading in the Bible. Talk to me. Do you have a favorite passage that you continue to go back to?
Psalms 23 is probably we read it at my mom's funeral. And it's probably like, I think that was one that even Brock Purdy had mentioned was one that got him through the season. you know, that God's always with you. He's got everything that you need. He's with you all the way. So, you know, that's kind of my go-to. There's so many. John 3:16, I think, is a great one. I mean, that's pretty much sums it up. God so loved the world, he gave his only son. So, you know, that's pretty special stuff there.
Well, you're a pretty special coach. We appreciate you spending some time with us here today on YSN, Coach. Best of luck in Charleston. We'll be watching. I understand you can watch it on Flow Sports. I guess we'll have to have some Flow Sports subscriptions this weekend to watch the YSU baseball Penguins. We're excited, and then obviously next week we kick off our coverage on YSN. Man. I can't wait.
You're going to be with us.
Stevie Les, myself, we're excited to put the band back together.
The legends will be with us next weekend.
The legends are in that dugout. I mean, with the guys that you've been able to put out there, and I gotta say, you were looking quite svelte on the Sunday broadcast, my friend. You were looking like a true athlete out there coaching third base.
You like the black top?
I do. That. I mean, it's sharp. It's sharp. So. I mean, the jerseys were sharp as well. The red tops with the black bottoms, you can't go wrong. So
those are new. Those are the new set this year. So
they're gorgeous. I mean, you guys have some great threads, and obviously great coaches and great players to be dressed in them. So thank you so much for taking some time. We will catch you early next week, and talk about the series that was in Charleston. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.